The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 8th day of September 2023. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase on SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. Get yourself some baseball tickets, football tickets. Lots going on in the world of sports going on. Been a few days since I done one of these 14:20 in the morning. I got a new project going on that I'm quite proud of. A lot of work going on behind the scenes to get that one going, but the Southern Alberta Sports Report. For those of you in the area who want to listen to that one, make sure you guys give it a watch. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Like I said before, it's a separate entity from the 1420 brand. It's just part of the whole thing, the whole scope of things. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes. And thank you for those who checked it out yesterday when it got out there. So, and then, like I said, get to our YouTube channel and check that out for the Southern Alberta Sports Report interview coming up next week for the very first one coming up on Wednesday. I think it is. We're going to do those ones Wednesday night live on YouTube. Yeah, lots going on here at World Headquarters. But anyways, 3 weeks remaining in the Major League Baseball season. It's hard to believe that it's at that point of the season again. I guess the leaves start turning, football's on. That means the Major League Baseball season is coming to a grinding halt all of a sudden. 3 weeks remaining to be done. 3 weeks Sundays, how it all turns out. And it's going to be interesting. I got 4 of the 6 divisions already claimed. I got the Dodgers having done, the Braves they're going to have wrapped up their division. Obviously, that powerhouse team, Ronald Acuna Jr., get to him in half a second. Minnesota's pretty much there, 6 games up right now. And I got the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, they're only 4, maybe 5 games up right now, but I think that the way they're rolling, winners of 5 in a row, whatever it is, and they just don't seem to be slowing down. So I got those 4 divisions: the American League East, the National League East, the American League Central, and the National League West, all being wrapped up with nowhere to go. Put a bookmark on that when you go to Bodog and guarantee that one. That's the lock of the week, guaranteed. Those 4 teams wrapping up the division. But there's the interesting divisions that are still up for grabs are the National League Central with the Cubs and with the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cubs are behind by 2 games right now, but I think the Cubs have that kind of a swagger going with them right now. They got a little bit of a feel to them. I see the Cubs overtaking the division in that one. They have a series this weekend against the team that's in a wild card race right now with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are still hanging in there in the wild card race. It's fun to watch those teams that are still hanging around there with the low payrolls in the National League, with the Cincinnati Reds and the Miami Marlins, who sits a bit of a setback this week. But yeah, I think that the Cubs are going to win that division. They have like I said, a pretty decent chance of winning. They have a bit of a swagger with them. They have that 2015-16 kind of a feel to them right now. I'm not saying they're a World Series champion, but they're playing very good baseball right now, and they're playing good baseball at the right time of year. And they'll look for them to overtake the division this weekend, because the Yankees, not that the Yankees are a good baseball team by any means, but the Milwaukee Brewers are heading to the Bronx this weekend to face a Yankee team who's playing pretty good baseball right now. They brought the young kids up. Hal Steinbrenner decided to bite the bullet and see what he's got for next year. I like the way the Yankees have done that in the years past. I said it before, like 2016 when they did it, and it sparked a great thing for 2017. But Jason Dominguez, the Martian, as he calls himself, he did the ET phone home salute to the bleacher creature tonight. So it was good to see the Yankees are actually doing something good with their franchise right now, with the team, how it's going on. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I was laughing last night. We went over to a local establishment here on the west side of Lethbridge to have a pre-show cocktail and some chicken wings last night. And, the Yankees are only 6 games back at that point, and I had to laugh a little bit. And I said, they're pulling me in, Deanna. They're only six games out. They should win this game against Detroit last night. And then Rodon pulled up a stinker, and I don't think we were at Mojo's for an hour. Then when I threw in the hat again and I said, that's it for the season, and Deanna she goes, you do this every year, no matter what sport it is. You give up on it, and then you're back in about 2 minutes, and you throw in the hat again, because it's usually what happens with the USC Trojans and what they got going on. And the Trojans have a pretty good team this year. Actually, they should win. I think they're a 50-point favorite against Stanford tomorrow, but that's another story. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But the interesting The wild card race is going to be very interesting in the National League and the American League. The American League, it's a 3-horse race for a 4-horse race for 3 spots. The Texas Rangers have been playing just absolutely horrific baseball this week, getting swept aside, actually getting smoked all week long by the Houston Astros, their in-state rival. The Rangers have been on a downhill slide ever since getting the kiss of death, I guess, from fan of the van Jim Plotner when he was on the 1420 in the morning Yankee Week in Review show a couple weeks ago when he picked the Texas Rangers to win the World Series. Ever since then, they've kind of gone on a downhill slide, but this week has not been good. Mad Max Scherzer got roughed up earlier on this week. The Rangers gave up 39 runs in the 3 games, and man, they're really, really struggling and playing bad baseball, not getting the pitching that you need for a championship team. And like the way they were hitting the ball, I didn't earlier on in the season. I didn't think that having adequate pitching would hurt them, but boy, oh boy, it just goes to show that anybody can, when you're hitting the ball, you still got to be able to pitch it. And usually teams that pitch it, you have a better chance of winning World Series. Now with the way strikeouts are in baseball and the like, if you're giving up 13 runs a game, there's a good chance you ain't winning anything. And the Texas Rangers, I think, are going to be on the outside looking in. It's interesting to see that the Toronto Blue Jays haven't made the run that I thought they would have. Maybe they're just a team who that's just who they are. That's what you got with the Toronto Blue Jays. They just don't have that it factor. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has not been the guy that the Jays fans have hoped for throughout the season, getting a big hit. They need this weekend. They took 2 or 3 from Oakland. You got to win 3 or 3 from Oakland. They got 3 at home this weekend versus the Kansas City Royals, and that's a game, a series that you got to sweep. You got to win all 3 against a horrible Kansas City team who's only 1 game ahead for the worst record in baseball to the Oakland A's, the aforementioned Oakland A's. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Jays do this weekend. You have to sweep these series if you have any kind of hope at all of doing something. You got to win the games that are in front of you. You got to beat the teams who are looking into next year land and 2 years down the road land, which the Kansas City Royals are. It's one of those things, and that's what the Yankees kind of blew their chance last night. Not that they were going to go on a run, but they had a chance to maybe get within 5 games last night, and they didn't take advantage of a poor Detroit team. Rodon came up and was terrible, and it's one of those things when you're playing teams that are looking for a chance to call up the younger guys, to have some guys that are maybe like 1 or 2 years down the road, but you're going to give them some at bats, you're going to give them some innings to pitch and see what you got. It's you got to take advantage of those games. The Toronto Blue Jays have to do that this weekend against that horrible Kansas City Royals team. And if they don't sweep all 3, you can almost, I don't want to say kiss their wild card chance goodbye, but it could be one of those situations. Their only saving grace is how bad the Texas Rangers have been playing. Tampa Bay is going to hold on to that wild card spot, the top wild card spot. I think they're 7 games up on that one right now. But the Seattle Mariners, they got a tough series this weekend in Tampa Bay, and then you have the Houston Astros, who have a pretty decent chance of winning a few games this weekend because they're going to the San Diego Padres. We'll get them in half a second, but you look for the Houston Astros to stay in the division lead and everything else, and the Rangers to stay back. But the Jays have to win. Like I said, they got to win 3 of 3 no matter what, because if they don't, they're going to be in big trouble. It's going to be fun to see how the rest of the Major League Baseball season wraps up and how it's going. One of the really interesting storylines that I'm really watching that it's got a bit more spice to it last night, where Ronald Acuna Jr. hit 2 more home runs against the St. Louis Cardinals, and now he's going to be pushing for a 40-70 year. He's got the 60 already, but he's be the only guy in Major League history to be a 40-60 guy. He's got 34 home runs or 35 right now. He's 5 more to get to that magical 40 spot and be a 40-40 guy. There's only 5 other guys in Major League Baseball history who have that. Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, A-Rod, and Alfonso Soriano. There's 4X or 3X Yankees on that list right there. And so, Canseco was a Yankee for a week and a half, I think it was. There's a shiny toy that Steinbrenner wanted, but seeing a guy like Ronald Acuna Jr. doing what he's doing, having the 60 stolen bases already, could he end up a 40-70 guy? That'd be something to see. It's unbelievable to see what the guy is doing. The 40-40 mark was when Canseco originally did it, was the first guy to ever do it. It was remarkable to watch. Little did we know, I think we all had a bit of a suspicion back in the 80s when Canseco was in the early 90s when he was doing what he was doing. But for Canseco to get that 40-40, I remember watching that and how it was just a remarkable achievement back then. And now to have Acuna Jr. going for a 40-60 year or maybe a 40-70 year, I think he's 7 stolen bases short of 70. So he could get there pretty easily, probably easier than the home run pace. But he's been hitting the ball so well lately. And I don't think there's a chance that Mookie Betts is even in the run running for the MVP of the National League. I think this is Acuna's no matter what. I think because Betts is having a hell of a season, the Dodgers are having a great season, but the way the Braves are playing the best team in baseball and having the best player and the best team, it's just one of those things how the voters will look at it. Betts is great and everything else, but it's also that East Coast West Coast bias where the voters see a lot more of Ronald Acuna Jr. than they will of Mookie Betts playing on the West Coast. But it'll be, I think he'll get the 40-60 for sure, but the 40-70 that might be a bit of a stretch, and that's going to end up to see what happens. Will the Braves even play him down the stretch because they have such a huge lead in the National League, the National League in general, and the National League East for sure. Will they play him the last week of this season? Probably, if he's only a home run or two away. If he's 4 or 5 away, they'll probably sit him out. You never know how it's going to play out down the stretch. The baseball stretch is we all become mathematicians and scoreboard watchers. It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out in that one. Another little situation that you got that happened earlier this week is Julio Urias from the Los Angeles Dodgers, second time got arrested for domestic violence, domestic abuse. How that's going to affect the Dodgers? The Dodgers are rolling. They got a lot going on, but for the second time in his career, he's been arrested for domestic violence. They can't see him being welcomed back with open arms to the Dodger to Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium. There, you wonder if his Dodger career is over, his Major League Baseball career is over. Obviously, there's a problem between that guy's ears, and there's some anger issues and violence issues and everything else, and it's bigger than baseball. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there because I think he's going to be probably out of baseball. But the one saving grace the Dodgers have, as rumor has, I was reading this morning that Walker Buehler in his very tight pants might be coming back to two Dodger Stadium to pitch at the end of the season. And if he can have even a half-assed decent playoff run for the Dodgers, look for them to do something. And this might be the year because I think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. The Braves are really, really good, but I think this is the year that they get that elusive World Series. Yeah, they got the COVID one in 2020, but that doesn't really count, as we all know. So it's a 3-quarter World Series, I guess we could call it. But you got to think that the Dodgers, and the way Kershaw's been pitching this year and everything else, they could probably rest him up going down the home stretch in the National League West. They have that division wrapped up and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But Urias really put a bone in the Dodgers championship or a stick in the spokes, whatever you want to call it, of the LA Dodgers by his domestic violence arrest this week. And it's crazy how that is so relevant throughout it's relevant everywhere. I shouldn't just say professional sports, but it's everywhere. You see it to all kinds of different things. The Danny Masterton thing where he got convicted or 30 years in prison for rape yesterday, and on it goes. It's crazy how prevalent it is, or maybe it's just because it's covered a lot more, but we won't get downer on the weekend of Major League Baseball, one of those things. But the last one I want to talk about right now, second last one. Is there a more disappointing team in professional baseball or professional sports than the San Diego Padres? Padres are going to Padre. They're 15 games out. They're 9 games down under 500 with that huge $280 million payroll, whatever it is. One of the best pitchers in baseball with Blake Snell, perennial nozzle Blake Snell, but everything else they got going on there, you'd think that they would have something going on. Manny Machado, and I hate to give my wife credit for where credit's due, but I'm going to do it. What she says, you got to play like a team to have any kind of a championship hopes or to do anything properly. But that Padres team's a mess, and to have that type of talent, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, plus it's the pitching, plus the closer that they have, you wonder why they couldn't put it all together. And maybe it's just they're a bunch of cancerous guys walking around the locker room who just don't care about each other and only care about their payrolls and everything else. Because to have that kind of talent and be 9 games into 500 at this point of the season, when people had you maybe going to a World Series, they had some playoff success last year. It's remarkable to watch that team just go down in flames year after year. Cleveland's going to Cleveland, and San Diego's going to San Diego. They did it when they were when the Chargers were there, and now they keep doing it when the Padres are there. So it's interesting to see how those teams always pan out. And last but not least, I want to give a 1420 Sports Bar salute to Andrew McCutchen, who may have played his last game in Major League Baseball. He tore his Achilles on, I think it was on Tuesday night, or partial tear in his Achilles, limped off the field. And but one of the good guys in baseball, one of the good guys in all sports, always has a smile on his face, always very good with people, and played the game hard, played the the game the right way. And it's ended this season at the 299 career home run tally for his career. And tip of the hat to Andrew McCutchen. It'd be tough to see him go out like this, but will the Pirates bring him back next year? Just a little bit of a swan song, and he's good with in the clubhouse, good with the kids, but the Pirates don't want to spend money and everything else. So it's one of those things where you see guys go out, and it happens year in, year out, where you see guys careers start and careers end. But McCutchen's one of the good guys, and it'd be sad to see him go out that way. And a tip of the cap, like I said, the old 14-20 salute to Andrew McCutchen, one of the good guys in baseball, and he lives in Pennsylvania too. So maybe he will stick around, and who knows what the Padres will have in store for him. Maybe bit player coach Reggie Dunlop kind of thing. Who knows what's going to happen with Andrew McCutchen, but like I said, one of the good guys in baseball. It's going to be fun to see how baseball ends up this week, how it all going to end up the rest of the season. I'm glad that baseball made the changes not to have the 40-man roster in September and having all the call-ups where you could have 15, 16 pitchers in a game. I'm glad they can only have a 26-man roster during the games as it is. I'm glad they don't have an unlimited amount of pitching and everything else, because it makes it fair for teams who are still in a hunt for a playoff spot, a hunt for a wild card spot, or it might be. So the way baseball has made that change, I think is a welcome change to all baseball fans who know the game a little bit, because the way it was playing out, and then you have a lot of teams who've already mailed it in. You don't know, like I said, you're scoreboard watching, and you're being a mathematician. You want to see who's playing who and what's going with what, but you have a chance where you have a major league ish ready team to go every night. You have an idea who your team is up against roster basis wise. Yeah, there's the call-ups, everything else, but when you had 30 or 40 guys and a pitching staff of 22 guys coming out of the bullpen, you didn't really know what your team was getting into on a day in, day out basis. So the way baseball's changed that and made the playoff races down the stretch like it is the last 3 weeks of the season, it's going to be interesting to see. But the way baseball did make those changes is a welcome change, in my opinion, in my 49 years on this planet. Jesus Christ, 49 years. Never would have thought I would have got this far. But it's interesting to see how it's all turned out, and it's going to be a fun 3 weeks of season. Dodgers, Braves, who did I say? Minnesota, and who was the last one I said? The last one I said Baltimore Orioles. Well, wrapped up the divisions, and I think the Jays will get in. They got to play a little bit consistent baseball and do some damage this weekend against the Royals, and hopefully the Yankees, the young kids, can keep showing things. I don't want them to make the playoffs, because that'll just keep things status quo. But I want them to finish off strong. They aren't making the playoffs. Who am I kidding? There was a glimmer of hope yesterday at about 5:30, 5:35, whatever time it was when we went over to Browns or to Mojo's, but by about 6:30 when I'd done my last chicken wing and on my third beer, I think it was, that's when it all went for shit in Yankee land for the season. 3 weeks ago, I wrote him off, and I wrote him off for the end for sure yesterday. But anyways, there's my rant for the day here at 14:20 in the morning. Thank you very much for listening every day. We appreciate all the people who listen to our show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and all on it goes, and spread the good word of the 1420 podcast. Like I said, we really appreciate everybody who tunes into the show on a daily basis or once a week or whatever you guys are doing. But thank you very much. Here's a little word from our friends from SeatGeek.
The foul baller. If there's a ball that's gone foul, he's gone to get it. Under his watchful gaze, all bevs, binoculars, and ballpark brats are safe. He's the only thing that stands between his section and certain destruction. That's why he only trusts SeatGeek with his tickets. The ticketing app trusted by fans. SeatGeek, so fans can fan.
All right, we'll switch things up a little bit here. We'll get you guys out of here. Let's do a little Brent's Best Bet brought to you by Bodog. Brent's Best Bet brought to you by Bodog. There it is. Make a play at Bodog today. Tomorrow in college football, the number 25 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes travel to Ames, Iowa to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. I got a letter to go play hockey there at one point in my year, a long time ago. Iowa State has not beat Iowa at home in 12 years. Make it 13. Take the Hawkeyes. The University of Central Florida Knights hit the road, going right across the country to Boise, Idaho to take on the Boise State Broncos. Boise State has won 21 straight home openers. Make it 22. Take the Broncos. And lastly, the Texas number 11 Texas Longhorns travel to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to take on the number 4 Crimson Tide. Take the Longhorns to roll over the Tide in the big upset in Tuscaloosa. Huge upset. So take Iowa, Boise State, and Texas. Put down $20 and win yourself $231.53 today at Bodog. Make a play at Bodog by clicking on our personalized link and getting a $400 sign-up bonus today at Bodog. Make sure if you're going to play, be sure to play responsibly. So make a play at Bodog today. That's Brent's Best Bet, brought to you by Bodog. Make a play today. There it is, 14:20 in the morning. Got through it, no problem. Friday's up on us. I don't know what this weekend's got in store for me, but we got a lot going on. I got to get some other things going with that Celebrity Sports Report. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I put my yap out there and start doing things without thinking about the rest of it. We'll get through it. It's gonna be a fun little show, so make sure you guys check that one out. Spread the word about the 1420 podcast. We thank you very much once again for all the listens. Like, subscribe, all the stuff. Click the buttons wherever you click the buttons. Talk to people about the show and all that stuff. But anyways, we appreciate everything you guys do for the 1420 podcast. It's a very, very appreciative. But you know what? Let's wrap things up. And for all of us here at World Headquarters, remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Have a great day, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Always root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball
just listening to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer with the sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.